Yeah, welcome back. Flowers for Algernon, paragraph, not page, paragraph, not page, 194, June 19th. There goes Charlie, Boston. Sometimes at night, I go out for a walk. Last night, I couldn't remember where I lived. A policeman took me home. I have the strange feeling that this has all happened to me before, a long time ago. I keep telling myself I'm the only person in the world who can describe what's happening to me. Paragraph 195, June 21st. Why can't I remember? I've got to fight. I lie in bed for days and I don't know who or where I am. Then it all comes back to me in a flash. Fugues of amnesia, symptoms of senility, second childhood. I can watch them coming on. It's all so cruelly logical. I learned so much and so fast. Now my mind is deteriorating rapidly. I won't let it happen. I'll fight it. I can't help thinking of the boy in the restaurant, the blank expression, the silly smile, the people laughing at him. No, please, not that again. June 22nd. I'm forgetting things that I learned recently. It seems to be following the classic pattern. The last things learned are the first things forgotten, or is that the pattern? I'd better look it up again. I read my paper on the Algernon-Gordon effect, and I get the strange feeling that it was written by someone else. There are parts I don't even understand. Motor activity impaired, I keep tripping over things, and it becomes increasingly difficult to type. June 23rd. I've given up using the typewriter completely. My coordination is bad. I feel that I'm moving slower and slower. Had a terrible shock today. I picked up a copy of an article I used in my research, Kruger's Über Psychische Ganzheit, to see if it would help me understand what I had done. First, I thought there was something wrong with my eyes, and then I realized I can no longer read German. I tested myself in other languages, all gone. June 30th. A week since I dared to write again. It's slipping away like sand through my fingers. Most of the books I have are too hard for me now. I get angry with them because I know that I read and understood them just a few weeks ago. I keep telling myself I must keep writing these reports so that somebody will know what is happening to me. But it gets harder to form the words and remember spellings. I have to look up even simple words in the dictionary now, and it makes me impatient with myself. Dr. Strauss comes around almost every day, but I told him I wouldn't see or speak to anybody. He feels guilty. They all do, but I don't blame anyone. I knew what might happen, but how it hurts. July 7th. Paragraph 203. I don't know where the week went. Today's Sunday, I know because I can see through my window people going to church. I think I stayed in bed all week, but I remember Mrs. Flynn bringing food to me a few times. I keep saying over and over, I've got to do something, but then I forget, or maybe it's just easier not to do what I say I'm going to do. I think of my mother and father a lot these days. I found a picture of them with me taken at a beach. My father has a big ball under his arm, and my mother is holding me by the hand. I don't remember them the way they are in the picture. All I remember is my father arguing with my mom about money. He never shaved much, and he used to scratch my face when he hugged me. He said he was going to take me to see cows on a farm once, but he never did. Dad never kept his promises. July 10th, paragraph 206. My landlady, Mrs. Flynn, is very worried about me. She said she doesn't like loafers. If I'm sick, it's one thing, but if I'm a loafer, that's another thing, and she won't have it. I told her I think I'm sick. I try to read a little bit every day, mostly stories, but sometimes I have to read the same thing over and over again because I don't know what it means. It's hard to write. I know I should look up all the words in the dictionary, but it's so hard, and I'm so tired all the time. Then I got the idea that I would only use the easy words instead of the long, hard ones. That saves time. I put flowers on Algernon's grave about once a week. Please put the light bulb or draw a light bulb next to 208. Please draw a light bulb next to paragraph 208 because that's the title, right? You can say this is the titular line, the line that gives the book its name. Mrs. Flynn thinks I'm crazy to put flowers on a mouse's grave, but I told her that Algernon was special. July 14th, my dad's birthday. It's Sunday again. I don't have anything to do to keep me busy now because my television set is broke and I don't have any money to get it fixed. I think I lost this month's check from the lab. I don't remember. I get awful headaches and aspirin doesn't help me much. Mrs. Flynn knows I'm really sick and she feels very sorry for me. She's a wonderful woman whenever someone is sick. Oh, burn. July 22nd. Mrs. Flynn called a strange doctor to see me. She was afraid I was going to die. I told the doctor I wasn't too sick, that I only forget sometimes. He asked me, did I have any friends or relatives? And I said, no, I don't have any. I told him I had a friend called Algernon once, but he was a mouse and we used to run races together. He looked at me kind of funny, like he thought I was crazy. He smiled when I told him I used to be a genius. He talked to me like I was a baby and he winked at Mrs. Flynn. I got mad and chased him out because he was making fun of me the way they all used to. July 24th. Miles, back to bed, buddy. Come on.
I need to tell something.
Yeah, what?
Here you go.
Oh, thanks so much.
But what difference in Frankie's room?
Well, Frankie has her room, which is separate from yours.
But but you're gonna clean up under my bed.
You have some toys under your bed?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a problem for Sunshine, okay?
But who's gonna clean it up?
You.
Okay.
All right. I love you, bud.
I will clean it. First, I need to get
All right, but first you need to get to bed, buddy. Come on. Come on, Miles. Thank you, sir. I have no more money, and Mrs. Flynn says I got to go to work somewhere and pay the rent because I haven't paid for over 2 months, and I don't know any work but the job I used to have at Dunnigan's Plastic Box Factory. I don't want to go back to work there because they all knew me when I was smart, and maybe they'll laugh at me, but I don't know what else to do to get money. Question 4. In Flowers for Algernon, what is one aspect of the text that shows Charlie is returning to his old condition? Well, we know for a fact that his old condition means that he would be less smart, right? So that he would have less knowledge. So he learns German? No. In fact, he's unlearning things. He says he hates Algernon. That's early on in the story. And this is his return. So no, I don't think that's it either. He says he hates Algernon. Nope. See, he starts to spell badly again. Are there any spelling mistakes that you see here? I have no more money, and Mrs. Flynn says it should be that, right? That I've got to go to work somewhere and pay the rent because I haven't, paid for over 2 months. I don't, oh boy, take a look. Don't seem correct. Any work but the job I used to have at Donegan's, no apostrophe, plastic box company. I don't know apostrophe, want to go back there because they all knew me when I was smart, comma, and maybe they'll laugh at me. But I don't know what else to do to get money. And that's a incomplete sentence as well. Let's run on. So, you can't count out C. He asked Miss Kitty to dinner. That was when he wasn't returning. That's when he was ascending. He was on his way to being smart. So C is the clear answer there. Please mark C. Do that now, please. July 25th. I was looking at some of my old progress reports, and it's very funny, but I can't read what I wrote. I can make out some of the words. Miles, back to bed. Come on. I can make out some of the words, but they don't make sense. Miss Kinnian came to the door, but I said, go away. I don't want to see you. She cried and I cried too, but I wouldn't let her in because I didn't want her to laugh at me. I told Miss Kinney I didn't like her anymore. I told her I didn't want to be smart anymore. Well, that's not true. I still love her and I still want to be smart, but I had to say that so she'd go away. She gave Mrs. Flynn money to pay the rent. I don't want that. I gotta get a job. Please, please let me not forget how to read and write. July 27th. Mr. Donegan was very nice. Miles, back to bed, bud. When I came back and asked him for my old job of janitor. First, he was very suspicious, but I told him that what happened to me, that he looked very sad and put his hand on my shoulder and said, Charlie Gordon, you got guts. Everybody looked at me when I came downstairs and started working the toilet, sweeping it out like I used to. I told myself, Charlie, if they make fun of you, don't get sore because you remember they're not so smart as you once thought they were. Besides, they were once your friends, and if they laughed at you, that doesn't mean anything because they liked you too. One of the new men who came to work there after I went away made a nasty crack. He said, Hey, Charlie, I hear you're a very smart fellow, a real quiz kid. Say something intelligent. I felt bad, but Joe Carp came over and grabbed him by the shirt and said, Leave him alone or I'll break your neck. I didn't expect Joe to take my part, so I guess he's really my friend. Later, Frank Riley came over and said, Charlie, if anybody bothers you or tries to take advantage of you, call me or Joe and we'll set them straight. I said, Thanks, Frank, and I got choked up. So I had to turn around and go into the supply room so he wouldn't see me cry. It's good to have friends. July 28th. I did a dumb thing today. I forgot I wasn't in Miss Kinnean's class at the adult center anymore like I used to be. I went in and sat down in my old seat in the back of the room. Yeah. Oh, geez. All right. Well, let me see what I can do. I went in and sat down in my old seat in the back of the room, and she looked at me funny and she said, Charles. I didn't remember she ever called me that before, only Charlie. So I said, Hello, Miss Kinnean. I'm ready for my lesson today, only I lost my reader that we was using. She started to cry and run out of the room, and everybody looked at me, and I saw they wasn't the same people who used to be in my class. Then, all of a sudden, I remembered some things about the operation and me getting smart, and I said, Holy smoke, I really pulled a Charlie Gordon that time. I went away before she'd come back to the room. That's why I'm going away from New York for good. I don't want to do nothing like that again. I don't want Miss Kinnean to feel sorry for me. Everybody feels sorry at the factory, and I don't want that either. So I'm going someplace where nobody knows that Charlie Gordon was once a genius, and now he can't even read a book or write good. I'm taking a couple of books along, and even if I can't read them, I'll practice hard. And maybe I won't forget everything I learned if I try real hard. Maybe I'll be a little bit smarter than I was before the operation. I got my rabbit's foot and my lucky penny, and maybe they will help me. If you ever read this, Miss Kinnean, don't be sorry for me. I'm glad I got a second chance to be smart because I learned a lot of things that I never even knew were in this world, and I'm grateful that I saw it all for a little bit. I don't know why I'm dumb again or what I did wrong, but maybe it's because I didn't try hard enough. If I try and practice very hard, maybe I'll get a little smarter and know what all the words are. I remember a little bit how nice I had a feeling with a blue book that has the torn cover when I read it. That's why I'm going to keep trying to get smart so I can have that feeling again. It's a good feeling to know things and be smart. I wish I had it right now. If I did, I would sit down and read all the time. Anyway, I bet I'm the first dumb person in the world who ever found out something important for science. I remember I did something, but I don't remember what. So it gets it's like I did it for all the dumb people like me. Goodbye, Miss Kinnean and Dr. Strauss and everybody. And P.S. Please tell Dr. Niemer not to be a grouch when people laugh at him, and he would have more friends. It's easy to make friends if you let people laugh at you. I'm going to have lots of friends where I go. P.P.S. Please, if you get a chance, Put some flowers on Algernon's grave in the backyard. Which phrase best describes Charlie at the end of Flowers for Algernon? Sad but hopeful. That doesn't seem too off, right? This is at the end. It's Charlie. The end of Flowers for Algernon. Relieved but bitter. I don't know about bitter. Angry and threatening. No, I'm not so sure about that either. Proud and conceited. No, don't think he's there. So sad but hopeful. I think that's it. I think that's pretty close to it. Bitter would be the other closest answer, but A is the correct answer. All right, please take a moment to mark the correct answer. We will look at the essay later.